Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much indeed for coming to the beautiful town of Malmesbury today, which I understand was, in fact, the birthplace of England in some senses. I'm sure there'll be time to have a look around the town and to the beautiful shops and the abbey and the pubs and so on afterwards. Firstly, I'd like to apologise because I had a phone call. I rang David Cameron last night and said, the mic is going to be working for tomorrow, isn't it? And he said, of course, I guarantee 100% the mic will be working tomorrow. And this is the guy that said, we vote for Brexit on Thursday, we'll put in Article 50 on Monday. So I knew that I was okay. Anyhow, the mic's not working. So I'm sorry, despite the very best efforts of Brian here, who had it all up and running yesterday. So I'll have to shout, and I'm afraid the other speakers will have to shout as well. But, we're not going to let that put us off, are we? Because at the end of the day, we're all here because there's something that we believe in. Every political party has been invited. We don't have the three mainstream Lib, Lab and Con parties here. They didn't accept the invitation. Well, we're not surprised about that, are we? And I've been on the road a lot last week, and I've not really totally up to date with all the shenanigans. Is David Davis resigning? Isn't he resigning? What's his missus say? What's going to happen? What's happened? The whole thing is going crazy, isn't it? What's Boris Johnson said? Perhaps we shouldn't say anything indiscreet today in case it's recorded and we find it on Guido Fawkes tomorrow afternoon. But I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all of the speakers who've come here today from a very eclectic mix. We've got PR, we've got House of Lords reform, we've got regional parliaments and representation, we've got civil liberties. It's a really good mixture of things, and I think all of those things are more challenged than at any time in my lifetime. I was born in 1959, so I'm 58 years old. So in my 58 years, there are older people than me. I suspect we've never had a situation where constitutional reform has been so overdue, whether it's an unelected second chamber, whether it's a proportionate representation system, whatever it may happen to be. Civil liberties, whether you agree with Tommy Robinson or you don't agree, I think there's certainly some question marks of we need to understand what happened and why that happened. There are so many things in our country now, and that's without even mentioning Brexit, the fact that we voted 2 years ago, like I just said, for something to happen on Monday. It took a year for Theresa May to trigger that Article 50, and then we're still buggering about. What's going on? We don't know. And to be honest, my personal opinion, I didn't actually introduce myself. Sorry, I'm the chairman of UKIP Southwest and UKIP Gloucester. My personal opinion is, actually, we ain't going to be leaving next March. I don't believe it. There's a majority in the House of Commons for Remain and a bigger majority in the House of Lords for Remain. And when I phoned the Gloucestershire local authorities to find out about local council elections next year, the one in Stroud said, oh, the only election we've got next year is the European Parliament election. I said, I beg your pardon, that was about 2 months ago. And she said, yes, the European Parliament election. I said, well, excuse me, aren't we leaving? Oh, yes, well, just in case we're staying. So it would be an interesting thing for all of you to check with your local authorities as well. But I think, whereas 17.4 million people did vote one way, 52% is a majority. If you have a company and you've got 51% of the shares, you're in control of the company. It's as simple as that. That's the way democracy works. And the government, I think Theresa May currently had about 40% of the poll, 40, or 42% in 2017. The Conservatives governed the country on 36% in 2015. So actually, all this baloney about, oh, you haven't really got a majority, it's only 52. Well, it was when I went to school. It is a majority. It needs to be done. And every government in this country for over 100 years has governed on less than 50% of the MPs. So that's just rubbish. Anyway.